There we go. So yeah, welcome to week 2. We'll start there again. But yeah, I know it can be really, really difficult to not compare yourself to somebody else's journey, but try not to compare yourself to somebody else's journey, because all of our journeys are different. Every day that you get up and show up, you are moving the needle forward in your business, even if you can't see it. Even if you can't see it. So I hope you guys took a moment to watch the Eric Worre compound interest clip that I popped into our chat last week, because he's so brilliant. If you don't follow Eric Worre, follow him. He offers a lot of free training. He offers a lot of training that's like $10. Like, it's so reasonable. And he is literally brilliant. He started from nothing in this industry, and he built like a multi-million dollar business, right? So that compound interest, it so clearly shows how this journey happens, right? Like, nothing's happening, or it doesn't look like anything's happening. And then all of a sudden, I can honestly tell you the moment that my business went, I remember it. I actually remember calling up my leader. It was in my previous company. I remember calling my leader. I had been in the industry for 9 years. 9 years. And it's not that I hadn't made any money up until then, right? I had made, like, it was helping, it was filtering into our household. We were saving, using it for vacations or to pay for the kids' activities or, that sort of thing. But it wasn't life-changing income at that point for 9 years, you guys. Now, keep in mind, I work a very demanding full-time job as well. So I wasn't, putting all my eggs into my network marketing business. And there was a period of time where I had switched jobs with my full-time job. So I literally was just on autopilot with my network marketing for a couple of years as well. So I could have grown faster if I wanted to, but I can recall the moment. So this would have been almost 5 years ago now. And overnight, my business tripled. Literally overnight, you guys. And I remember calling my leader at the time and going, "Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening." And she's like, "It is. All the seeds you have planted for the last 9 years, all the watering you've done, all the fertilizing you've done, all the marinating you've done, everything you've done for the last 9 years is blossoming." And that was the uptick to my business. And then it just continued. And did it continue going like this? No, right? There was this that happened, but it still continued to steadily grow from that moment. And I went from making about $20,000 to $30,000 a year in this industry to $300,000 a year in this industry. And it happens. It does. When it doesn't happen is when you give up. Like, if you give up, it's obviously never going to happen, right? But if you stick with it, when it's going to happen, nobody knows, but it will. It will. Okay. Let's pull up this week. So this week, we're going to look at follow-up. Okay. So we're just going to do a little mindset check-in. I'm going to make this kind of a part of every single week when we're looking at our week. I want you to think about, what did you do in this last week to strengthen your mindset? Okay. Did you watch a training? Did you, listen to a podcast? Did you read a couple of pages of a leadership book or a mindset book? Whatever it is that you did to strengthen your mindset, I want you to think about what you did to strengthen it. And if you didn't do anything, I want you to start implementing that as part of your daily routine. On your DMO checklist, the very first thing at the top should be personal development. Whether it's 10 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes. I'll tell you what I do, you guys. When I wake up in the morning, I typically set my alarm for at least 20 minutes before I actually have to get out of bed, right? Where this is like my hard stop, I gotta get up. And for those 20 minutes, years ago, I used to just like scroll Facebook or whatever. Now I put a podcast on. So if Tim's still sleeping, depending on what day it is and how early it is, I'll pop my earbuds in and I'll listen to a podcast. Mel Robbins, Eric Worre, whoever. Okay. Sometimes Bree Richardson. Like, if she's done a recent training, I'll listen to her. That's what I do. Laying in bed for those 15 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the morning, whatever, I strengthen my mindset before I get up. I want you to think about, because all of you probably experienced or perceived that you experienced rejection over the last year. How did you respond to that rejection? I want you to think about that, okay? Think about, could you have responded in a different way? Could you have still maintained that relationship and potentially had that person still be in your follow-up funnel if you had responded in a different way? And can we go back? Yes, we can, and we'll look at that. How did you tackle any challenging day or challenging conversation that you might have had this past week? Okay, I want you to think about that. You might have had some challenging conversations. Maybe you were connecting with a customer because of this new promo that came out and letting them know about the Enrich, and that customer said, oh, no, I had to wait 3 months for my last order. I'm not ordering from this company ever again. How did that affect your mindset? How did you approach that conversation? Okay. And did you take a deep inventory of your environment? How you're spending your time, what you're surrounding yourself with, who you're surrounding yourself with, what you're listening to, what you're watching, and how that can affect your mindset as well. So I just want you to think about those. And I want you to, make that as part of your, DMOs to really every morning be doing a mindset check-in. Okay. Okay, you guys, we're going to look at comfort level. I want you to look at this chart. You don't have to tell us, but if you want to, you can share in the chat. What zone are you currently in? Are you in the comfort zone? Which means you're not really taking any risks. You're not having any, scary conversations. I call it the chicken list. Okay. You're not reaching out to people that you're afraid to talk to. You're feeling safe. You're feeling like you're in control, but you're probably not seeing a lot of results in the comfort zone. Is that a fair assumption? Right? Often in the comfort zone, we don't see any results. And this can go for anything. If we are looking at training for a marathon, but we're just out speed walking every day, it's a little comfortable. It's not so comfortable to start, sprinting and running and, getting our body to a point where it's tiring. But are we going to actually see the results? Outside the comfort zone is the fear zone. We have to get past this zone. This is a zone we need to try to leapfrog over. And it can be really hard because when we're starting off in something, or we are developing new skills, or, learning something new, we often lack self-confidence, right? Even at a Black Diamond level, you guys, I'm not confident every single day of my life. There are people that are still on my funnel list that I am working up the courage to send a message to. I'm not kidding you, okay? So often in this fear zone, we lack self-confidence. We'll find excuses not to do things, okay? I'm just, I'm too tired today, or, today's not a good day to reach out to people because it's the Super Bowl and nobody's going to be on, like whatever your excuses are, okay? And we're affected by others' opinions in the fear zone. So again, this goes back to reassessing our environment. I can't tell you, so most of you know, but my previous company was Spices. I can't tell you for how many years people kept asking me, are you still doing that spice thing? And I was like, yes, I am. And in the beginning, I used to feel like, oh yeah, I kind of cower and say, kind of, yeah, just a little, like on the side. And then as I realized over the years that this is a legitimate business, a legitimate industry, and it's going to provide for my family, I got more confident in my answer, right? I got more confident in what I said. So once we can leapfrog over that fear zone, we enter our learning zone. So this is where we learn to deal with challenges and problems because they are going to come. It does not matter where you are in your journey in your business, there will always be challenges. There will always be things that we need to overcome, and we're going to develop a skill set to do that. In the learning zone, we acquire new skills. We acquire new skills to, face our business every day. We acquire new skills to network. We acquire new skills to start conversations, and we're extending outside of our comfort zone. So it can get uncomfortable, right? It can be really uncomfortable in the learning zone. Sometimes it's lonely. Eric Worre talks about that a lot. It's a lonely space. That's why I wanted to bring everyone together in a space like this and in a chat like this, because when you find your people that are moving through the same zones as you, it's not so lonely. It doesn't feel like you're doing it all on your own and that it's like this weird thing to be doing, okay? And then once we start to acquire those new skills, we enter the growth zone. And then in the growth zone, magic starts to happen, right? We find our purpose. We start living our dream life, or working towards that. We're setting new goals. We're conquering those objections, and we are growing our business. Okay, you guys. So I want you to think of one thing that makes you really, really uncomfortable to do in your business. Like really uncomfortable. Again, you can share it in the chat. I'm going to go back and look at the chat for sure, you guys, but you can take a peek in there and see what people are saying. What is one thing that makes you so uncomfortable? Like it makes you like want to vomit a little bit. We all have those things. I've got them, so you guys must have them. I want you to write it down. I want you to make it a goal. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't even have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be next month. Remember, we're all on the same journey at different stages, and that's okay. But I want you to make it a goal to do this uncomfortable thing at some point. You set that goal for yourself. I'm not setting it for you. You might say, I'm going to do it this week. I am doing that this week. You might say, this month. You might say this year. That's okay. But I suggest you do it a little bit earlier than that. But think of one thing that makes you super uncomfortable. Set a goal for when you're going to do that. Okay. All right. So if you've been sitting on your dreams, waiting for the right time to feel comfortable before making any leaps, it's time to face those fears and confront what's truly stopping you. What are you afraid of? Maybe one of the things that you're uncomfortable to do is you've got a friend that is, a real estate agent, and you just know that they would be amazing with this business, but you haven't sent them a message yet. You haven't reached out to them because you're afraid of what? What are you afraid of? Rejection? Judgment? All of the above? Okay. And then I want you to think, okay, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? Are they going to stop being friends with you? Probably not, right? Otherwise, they weren't a very good friend to begin with. If you're just offering them the opportunity to look at something, that could change the course of their financial future. So give that some really good thought this week, you guys, okay? Feel the fear and do it anyway, okay? Look at that one thing you wrote down, make a plan to combat it, set a goal, okay? Lean on your leader. Lean on me. Okay, so we're going to look at follow-up, and we're going to talk about common objections with follow-up. So if you've been in this industry for a little bit of time, or maybe not, but maybe you've, heard a training that says the fortune is in the follow-up, it couldn't be any truer, okay? Our follow-up is so key to building a business, because I want you to think, how many times have you not purchased something just simply because the salesperson didn't follow up with you? I was actually thinking this the other day. So we're in the process of renewing our mortgage. And the original mortgage broker that I spoke to, we had like a long conversation on Zoom one day. And they provided me all this information, but it's been like a month and I haven't heard from her. And I actually forgot about her. Like I literally forgot about her. And so my current bank contacted me and was like, oh, and we've been talking. And so today we're, going to be signing the papers and everything. And then this lady's name popped into my brain. I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about her. So I actually went back and reviewed what we had talked about to make sure we're getting the best deal. And it's pretty comparable. It's actually the same. But had she followed up with me, could it have been different, right? Could I have been, renewing my mortgage with her instead? So successful people in this industry become really, really good at follow-up. when we look at this industry, a lot of times this industry gets the rap that only the top 1 or 2% are successful. It's not that only the top 1 or 2% can be successful. It's that the top 1 or 2% are the ones that are all in, are the ones that are doing the uncomfortable things, are the ones that are showing up even when it's hard, and are the ones that have mastered follow-up. That's really and truly what it's about, okay? All right. So here are some stats for you guys. I actually pulled these off of a network marketing, website. Only 2% of sales happen during the first point of contact. So that first message that you send somebody, you only have a 2% chance that something's going to happen. So if you've messaged 100 people, there's a chance 2 people are going to be interested enough to take a closer look, okay? So failure to follow up means that you're missing out on 98% of your sales. 44% of sales representatives give up after that first conversation. So almost half. And so this is not even just for you, but think about your team, okay? Whether you have a team yet or not, at some point you will, you're rising to Ruby. If your team is giving up, 50% of your team are giving up after that first connection, you can see why there's going to be pockets in your team of people that have no customers, have no associates, okay? 60% of customers will reject offers I would actually say it's even higher, but stats said 4 times before making a decision. So if we are following up with everyone, another 60% of them are not going to even take a look until the 5th, 6th, 7th time that you connect with them. And 42% of prospective customers say that they would be more likely to make a purchase decision if their sales rep kept their promise and followed up in a timely manner. So if you tell somebody, I'm gonna check in with you in 48 hours, or I'm gonna check in with you on Thursday, and you don't, you're breaking a promise. And remember, this business is built on trust, right? It's built on relationship building, and it's built on trust. Okay, so why are less than 10% of people seeing success? Because only 8% of professionals in this industry follow up 6 or more times. Okay, so how to follow up? When, how, what to say, okay? We're gonna get into a little bit more nitty gritty now, and I am gonna provide you with some documents in the chat when we're done as well. So within 24 hours of the first contact, so if you make contact with somebody, they say, yeah, I'll take a look, or yeah, I'll join the, the ultimate blow up or ripple effect, whichever group you're promoting. And the reason I talk about both those groups is because we do have access to both of them. And I would suggest you take a look at both of those groups and decide which one kind of jives with you, okay? The ripple effect is run by Bree Richardson. The ultimate glow up is run by Amber and her diamonds, okay? Both have kind of different, both have similar styles, but just different approaches. So make a decision and kind of stick with one. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, but stick with one just because it's going to be easier for you to keep track of who you have invited to that group and whether they've joined, okay? So after your first contact that somebody does say, sure, I'll take a look, within 24 hours, you're sending a message and you're not saying, did you? You're saying, what did you think? You are assuming they took a look, okay? It's an assumption you're making. If they come back and say, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, Tanya, I got so busy last night with kids, I just didn't have a chance to pop on that overview, or I didn't have a chance to watch the link you sent me or whatever, set a date to follow up. So voice message back, because they're going to hear your voice, they're going to hear, the authenticity, whatever. Okay, you know what? No problem. I totally get it. Gosh, I remember when my kids were little too. Do you think you're going to have a chance later tonight after the kids go to bed? It's about 20 minutes. Do you think you're going to be able to watch that? Wait for a response. When they come back, say, okay. I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow evening. How does that sound? Always end every voice message or whatever with a question, because then it's forcing them to respond to you. Okay. So you want to make sure you have a good tracking system. We talked about that last week. Are you following up in 24 hours? Then maybe 2 days later. Okay. Because all of us have those people that are just not doing it. They're not answering you, or they're not, they're saying they're going to do something and then they don't. So typically, 24 hours later, because you want to like strike when the iron's hot, right? 24 hours later, okay, no problem. Or say they don't even respond to you. You can send a voice clip and say, hey, I'm not sure if you saw my message above. They don't respond. 2 days later, okay, you're going to send another message. Or even closer, if you're getting close to closing, if they're really interested, they want to purchase, okay? Then we're going to push it out 2 weeks. So you kind of see the 2-2-2 thing, right? 2 weeks later, after they haven't responded to you, or they haven't taken any action, 2 weeks later, voice clip, hey, I know it's been a couple of weeks. I know life can get really crazy, but I don't want you falling through the cracks. I have my hands on something so incredible here. I really want to make sure you're taking a look at it. Would you have time tonight? Okay. They still don't respond to you, put them down to follow up 2 months later, or maybe not even that far. Okay. Another 2 weeks. Okay. Like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Offer samples. We have the Mojo and the Zest in samples. We can send them out a sample. You can pop a sample in the mail with a stamp, super easy. Send them some little instructions on, what a niacin flush is, that sort of thing. You want to give them a little bit of education. You want to offer value. Okay. And then really and truly, the time comes to ask for the sale. Sometimes that in itself will close a deal, is simply asking, simply saying, so should we go ahead and get you set up and get your collagen ordered for you? If they say, yeah, I would love to, and you send them the link to your website, and within 24 to 48 hours, you don't see that sale come through, I typically follow up and say, you know what? I know life can get busy. Let me offer you my VIP service and get that ordered for you. And typically I get the response, oh my gosh, that would be great. What do you need? Okay, I just need your email, phone number, full mailing address. So I actually go in, you guys, put the stuff in the cart for them. I always set them up on subscription, but I let them know I've set them up on subscription. I create their account for them with their email, phone number, address. And then I just say, you can either send me your credit card here, and then I'll delete it as soon as I, write it down, or you can call me with it. I give them that option. And I place the order for them. Then I say to them, I always set up their password as Trinot@1. Because then I will always remember what it is. And I always set up their PIN as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I will send them back and say, okay, you're all set. You should get an email. Here's the link to the website. Your login information is your email. And then the password is Trinot@1. I have you set up on subscription, though you can go in and change it at any time. Or if you would prefer me to change it, just send me a quick message before the next shipment date and I can change it for you. Okay. Now, I don't suggest offering that right off the go. You do want your customers to be independent. But if this is going to, get the sale done because they're just busy or they're squirrely or, the kids like distract them and they just don't get it done, offer to do it for them. Okay. Okay. So looking at your list from last week, who have you followed up with? Highlight those that have responded. So that list of 20 that you made last week, if you haven't yet started a good tracking system, highlight the ones that have responded. Okay, what is the next step with those people? Are they asking more questions? Are they hesitant? Often questions or hesitation just means they need more information. Okay. So you could ask something like, you seemed interested. I think I provided you with all the information to move forward. Are you ready to get those products into your hands? Wait for a response. See what they say. Okay, if the response is yes, awesome. Okay, perfect, let's do it. If they respond no, You can ask simply, hey, do you mind me asking what's holding you back? You know, you seem really interested. You've taken a peek at the customer testimonials. What's holding you back right now? How much, what more information can I provide for you? Okay, if it's still no, we'll look at some objections in a minute, but if really after we go through all those objections, it's still no, now's not a good time, can I keep you in the loop with any coming incentives in case you change your mind? Okay, and if they say yes, they're going to be on your follow-up list anytime, which typically is every month, right? In the all-in call, which you're not, anytime something is announced, you're going to circle back with them. We get a new product, we get a new flavor, there's an incentive, there's a promotion, whatever it is. Maybe you're doing your own promotion. I'm offering free samples this month. Anything, you're going to circle back with them and you've received permission to do that, okay? And then at the very end of the day, asking for referrals can be a great way to build your business too. So please keep me in mind if anyone you know is looking for high quality plant-based supplements or a collagen that really works. Okay, so let's take a deeper dive into who hasn't responded yet. So if they haven't responded at all, they've seen your message, they've heard your message. Hey, so-and-so, just checking that you were able to hear my message above. Okay, you've sent that voice message. You're gonna like just kind of play like, oh, maybe it didn't go through. Hey, just making sure you saw my message above. You can use text for this. You don't have to do another voice message. If they still don't respond, okay, so now 2 days later or whatever it is, okay, Tanya, if it feels like I'm chasing you, it's because I am, okay? And again, you can personalize this depending on your relationship, but most of you are probably still in your warm market, okay? I'm so convicted that you need to take a look at this. I know you're gonna love the products, okay? And whatever really works for that particular person, okay? Okay, so let's look at objections a little bit closer. And I am going to provide these for you, so don't feel like you need to feverishly write everything down. So just the very first thing to realize is objections are all a part of business. You're always going to get objections, okay? It usually means that they need more information, or it can mean that you haven't fostered the relationship yet. So you might just need to work on developing trust with that particular person, okay? It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. I really want to drive that home. You are not doing anything wrong by getting objections in your business, ever, okay? You're actually doing things right because it means you're talking to people, okay? So yeah, just, reframing your mind that it's not something you're doing wrong. Okay. Objection number one, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to think about this as a business. Okay. So a potential answer to this, and I say potential because again, you're going to want to personalize it, but like, great. Some of the most successful people in my business are the busiest. How much time do you actually think it would take for you to start and grow your business? End with a question. So they come back. Wait for the response. And honestly, regardless of what the response is, great. Are you open to brainstorming together how this business could fit into your busy life? My friend Wendy works full-time as a nurse educator and has built a multiple six-figure income. Can I connect the two of you? When you get that permission and they say, sure, start a three-way chat with me. Get me in front of them. And we'll continue the conversation. Okay, so those are your busy people. Everyone thinks they're super busy, right? It's my job to show them where they can find pockets of time. Okay, I don't have the money to start. This is a common objection and a valid one. Answer, okay, I hear you. Money is tight for so many right now, which is why multiple streams of income have become almost a necessity. Would you be open to letting me show you how you can earn your investment back and then some in your first month, sorry. Wait for them to respond. Okay, if they say yes, You won't regret checking this out. I'm going to post a recording below. Take a look and I will check in with you tomorrow, and then post Sanara's most recent overview. Okay. She records most of her overviews and they're amazing. And she breaks down the path to Jade in the first month. Then 24 hours after you post that link, you're going to message them back and say, so Jody, what did you think? If they say no, they're not open to looking, you can come back with would there be a better time in the next few months? And could I check in with you then? Okay, asking another question. Okay, I don't want to bother my friends. This is a common one. An answer to that could be, what do you think you would be bothering them? Why do you think you would be bothering them? Wait for the response. And then really, doesn't even matter what they say. Great to hear this concerns you, because this is not what we do. We have amazing products and an opportunity to offer people, and they get to decide for themselves if it's for them. We use the products and share our experiences. Have you ever recommended anything to a friend, a restaurant or something you bought that you loved? This type of response can also work for anyone who says, oh, I'm not a salesperson, or I couldn't do what you do. Actually, you do what I do. Have you ever recommended a restaurant or something that you love to somebody? That's exactly what I do. Okay. Okay, I don't know enough people. Another common one. Question, how many people do you think you need to know? Again, you're just asking a question to keep the conversation open, right? And so wait for them to respond. And then something you can come back with, again, tailoring it to sound like you. But the truth is, network marketing businesses are not built on the people you know, they're built on the people you meet along the way. And we have training to teach you those skills. Would you be open to brainstorming who you do know? Okay. Are these helping you guys? Giving you some conversation starters,
Yes.
conversation continuers? Okay. I don't think my friends would be interested. Okay, answer. Again, it's a question. Why do you think that? Why do you think your friends wouldn't be interested? Okay, wait for them to respond. And then you can come back with, funny thing is, I thought the same. But what I quickly realized is everyone wants to look and feel better, even if they don't admit it publicly. Can you think of 3 people who, and then insert whatever you think would resonate with that particular person. So can you think of 3 people who need another stream of income or take their health and wellness seriously? Can you think of 3 people who have had some recent health issues, are currently taking supplements? Can you think of 3 people who are currently in another business and maybe they're not happy, or are currently unemployed on mat leave, or have had hours cut at work? Okay. All right. So objection recap. Notice how every objection response starts and ends with a question to keep the conversation with that person going. Okay, really, really key. If you cut off the conversation, it's really awkward and kind of hard to get it started back up again. Okay. The goal is to get them into one of those customer testimonial groups and then use the add tag message system. So if you're not sure what that is, or maybe you haven't used it before, you're going to add them. I typically invite them. So I will send the link in Messenger. And then my 24-hour follow-up is, hey, Jen, just checking to make sure that you've joined the group above. Let me know when you've joined. Okay. When she comes back and goes, yep, I've joined. Okay, I'm going to tag you in some information on our gut health enzymes, since that was one of the things that we were chatting about. You go into the group, you search enrich, and you tag Jen in a couple of those posts. And then you say to her, I want you to go check them out, and I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. For those that say not now, or they're not responding, get permission to follow up at a later date. If you have, you've sent a message, 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 and they're still seeing it but not responding to you, I would put at the bottom, okay, you know what? this is getting a little awkward now, right? Like I would even send a voice clip. Okay, this is getting a little awkward. I'm just assuming you're super busy. I totally respect that. I'm going to put you on my follow-up list to connect with you next month. How does that sound? Again, end with a question. When I've done that, you guys, I've had like, no response, no response, no response, no response. You know what? I'm totally assuming life is just way too busy for you to take even a second to look at this right now. How about I follow up with you next month? How does that sound? I always get a response. Yeah, that would work great. Because either A, they just want me to stop messaging them right now, or next month actually does work better for them. Okay. But it's giving me permission. Next month, they're going to be on my follow-up list, and I'm going to send them a message and say, hey, Kathy, it's me again, right? I know, can you believe the last month just flew by? Wow, I've got so much to share with you. We've got some incredible things happening over here at Trinot. Patience and persistence. This is what the Level Up call is going to be about this Sunday, you guys. Haley Larkin and Linda Stern are leading it. Hop on. It's going to be amazing, okay? All right, week 2 action items for you guys. So getting uncomfortable. Think of that thing that makes you so super uncomfortable. Set a goal. If it's not this week, that's okay. But I want you to at least dip a toe outside of your comfort zone, okay? Make sure you have a clear follow-up and tracking system. We were working on that last week. We refine it as we go. I refine it all the time, okay? If you've already followed up in the past and maybe haven't gotten any traction from those conversations, go back, reconnect with them, use some of the scripts, okay? Make a goal. Now, I put 5 people here, but I want you to set your own goal realistically, okay? If you've never gotten anyone on an overview, maybe your goal this week is to get 1 person on an overview, okay? If you haven't scheduled your coaching call and or live with me, make sure that you do that. And all of you know at least 1 person that could drastically change the entire course of your business. I just got off of a training with Jen Dowd and the leaders. So I arranged a training for Jen Dowd and my leaders this morning. And Jen was telling us that when Bree Richardson joined Trinot, she was still with Unique and really didn't have an intention of building Trinot. She was interested in the CBD. She had a product changing experience with the CBD. Her dad had a product changing experience. She thought, okay, I'm just going to take a look. Okay. She joined. She was like 20 people down from Jen. Okay. She joined. Jen had no clue who she was. But she brought in a few people. And Jen was looking at her lines of business and she was like, what's that? What's happening with that girl? She's joined and she's already like sponsored a few people. So Jen called her. And Bree was like, well, I'm with another company. I'm not really looking to change. And Jen was like, okay, let me show you what we've got our hands on here. A week later, Bree was resigning from a position with her previous company where she had 600,000 people in her downline. And the rest is history. We know what Bree has built over here, right? Jen didn't know her. Jen didn't sponsor her. Some lady named Tammy did, who was friends with Bree. Okay. You have no idea who is going to come into your business. You just haven't met them yet. So I hope that was helpful, you guys. I have a few minutes. I can take some questions. I am going to post the Overcoming Objections documents for you so that you've got them right in front of you. It's one of those things, you're going to use the scripts, and eventually you're not going to need the scripts. It's just going to become part of your programming. You're just going to feel so confident when somebody comes back to you with something of how to respond to that. Okay, so those scripts are kind of like your security blanket right now. And again, I really do encourage you to make them personalized and make them sound like you. But eventually it just becomes part of, it's funny. I've done tons of trainings on stage and stuff for, my previous company. And I used to always get asked for my notes. They used to say, can you provide your notes? And I'm like, I don't have any notes. They're like, well, like, how did you prepare your training? I'm like, I have some point form stuff. And they're like, but everything you said, I'm like, it just came out of my brain. Like it really and truly just came out of my brain. I actually didn't prepare any notes. And I know that's probably the teacher in me as well. But honestly, you guys, as you build your confidence, as you leapfrog over that fear zone and you start to become more comfortable and confident and, you know, all the things, it will just become part of your response. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys this week. I'm going to check the chat, but if anybody wants to come off mute and ask any questions, I'm here. Awesome, awesome. Oh, I love that, Tammy. Before and afters, they sell. Stories sell, right? And sometimes our before and afters aren't physical before and afters. They're like, you know, how we're feeling, right? So make sure you're sharing that as well. Yep. And the fear zone is one of those zones. It can be hard to get past. Just chip away at it every day, right? Little victories every day. Little victories. Lives going live. Yes, we are, Tanya. I'm sorry we had to reschedule. Yesterday's headache was, oh my gosh. I felt like my head was
okay, but I gotta tell you this though. So the last live that we did was in October when we launched Transform.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I don't know what it is. I'm a motor mouth any other way. You know me. You know me. I'm a motor mouth. And I barfed 20 minutes before that live. I was so worked up. So lives are my biggest nemesis.
So I'm probably going to challenge you then. I am going to challenge you. You know what? You've been doing good though, because you're going in your stories. I saw you on your stories through Super Bowl, and I think you're stepping out of that comfort zone, Tanya.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact of that it's alive and it's with somebody else because we just kind of wing it when we go live, right?
Yeah.
So it's the questions and probably trying not to look so stupid if you don't know the answer, but maybe that's what it
And you know
is.
what? It's okay not to know the answer. So if somebody asks me something and I don't know the answer, I just think, wow, that is an amazing question. And I've actually never been asked that before. I'm going to find out the information for you.
Yeah.
Really simply, right? We don't have to know everything.
No.
For those of you that are nervous about going live, go in your stories first. Because the beauty with your stories is, number one, you can record your story. So I always record in Instagram because Instagram has a hands-free option. So you don't have to sit there holding the button. And it also records for a whole minute. The beauty with it is you can record it, you can watch it, and then you can delete it if you want to. Now, sometimes we're way more critical of ourselves than we need to be. So that can also backfire. But the other thing with a story is it's not live. So you're not seeing comments popping up. And if you're worried about comments and other people seeing comments right now, which is just something you need to get over, nobody sees other people's comments on your stories, right? The one thing you want though is you want to make sure you have a call to action, because you want them commenting, or you want them hearting, or you want them liking, or whatever, so that you can open conversations with those people. Good. Okay, guys, go off and have an awesome week. So thrilled to be doing this with you all. And I look forward to connecting with all of you this week for a coaching call, a live, or both. Really excited. Thanks, everybody. We'll connect soon. Bye.